And now we can hear. We have audio. We have video. What we don't have is anybody listening to the shir. Well, you know. All right. Bava Basra. I'm not sure that Abba saw this message. Let me try it on this messenger. Okay, and okay. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do right now while I'm waiting is I want to change this into a chatzer. What is this? This is a component. I'm going to destroy this chatzer over here. And I'm making this one, and I'm going to make this one in ba kedei chaluka. Ooh, let's make this one unique. That way we can mess around with it without the other one getting changed. I don't want to have to deal with things like the color of the floor and stuff. I'm just eradicating the floor and making a new one. And the floor is going to be purple because the red guy and the blue guy are both partners in this chatzer. Hey. All right. Let's bring them. Well, before we bring them in, let's make this chatzer a little bit smaller. Oh my gosh, Facebook. So if I am live right now, is that going to show up? Oh, what? Oh, I know what's happening. I don't think I actually started yet on Facebook. I didn't go live. When are you going live? Now. Okay, go live. Okay, I'll add a title. Yeah, where am I supposed to add a title? Huh? Where's the option to add a title, huh? No. When are you going live? Now. Public. Settings. I don't see a title anywhere. I'm just going to go live without a title. So there. And you're now live, says Facebook. Gewaldig. Okay. So what we're doing over here, the Cholman de Boy, is right now we have a chatzer over here that these two guys, the red guy and the blue guy, split up. What we're doing over here is we're having a chatzer hashutfim that is ein ba kedei chaluka, and I think that the best way to... Oh, that's funny. I didn't realize these houses came with floors. That's cute. In that case, let's take the house and its floor, and this one too. And I'm going to turn the houses so that the chatzer is their front yard, and we're going to shrink the chatzer like crazy because we don't want it to have more than 4x4 amas. Now already that distance I'm measuring here is more than 4 amas, so we're talking about an absurdly small chatzer. That's it. I'm just taking the houses. We're throwing the houses out. I think we're going to have to recreate a chatzer for them, basically from the ground up, because it's so teeny. I'm going to flip this house that way. Now we can have a tiny front yard. So what it's going to be is, let's say, 3.8 by 3.8. Our chatzer, in addition to being too small, is also floating in the air, among other problems. Okay, and now we're going to take this chatzer and we're going to plop it. Is it like glued to something? There's something weird going on with this. I'm not sure what. Oh, ha ha ha, I know why. Okay, because I was using this for Erevin and I have some weird settings going on. All right, so here we now have the chatzer that is in front of their houses. So much room, right? Let's see. All right. That is now their joint chatzer. And we'll have to make it purple. All right. Their chatzer is purple, and now we're going to get also Mr. Red and Mr. Blue to come into these chatzeros. Of course, they're going to have to be a lot closer together to fit in here. Okay, so these guys are partners. They both own this chatzer over here, and I think we're ready to start the daf. I just want to make sure that my father is on. He's not. I'm not sure that he got my message. But the fans are waiting, so. What fans? All right, so let's go. Zogt the Gemara. This is the second lashon in what the starting point for what a mechitza is, and this is going to be assuming hezek re'iyah shmei hezek. So, lishna acharina amri la. Another way that they said this sugya over. Savrua, they originally had thought to say my mechitza. What is the word mechitza mean? Plugta, a division, a separation. Kedechsev, and this is the same Gemara as yesterday, just in verse. Vatehi mechatzaso edo. You have the pasuk about dividing up the booty of a war, and it calls it mechatzas ha'eda, their portion that was divided. And now what we're saying is, v'kevan deratzu, once the shutfim agree to split up this chatzer of theirs, now they have to build a wall, even if one of them is not in the mood, as long as one of them wants it. Zogt Rashi. Kevan deratzu lachloik, since they wanted to divide it, will come on parach, my area ratzu. I feel like ratzu range and look of that. Anyways, you can force a split. Well, got there. But Bainin Kaisel Shalavadim is Avanim. they're going to be building a stone wall. Alma hezek re'iyah shmei hezek. If you can force them to build a wall, then that means that hezek re'iyah, that you're damaging someone by being able to see their private things, is considered a damage, and you can force a wall. Towards the Gemara shoots back again the inverse of last night. Ve'ema my machitza guda. Maybe machitza means an actual wall. It's nan, as we learned in a Mishnah, and that was so much fun last night. Let's do it again. Let's do it again and turn the vineyard purple. All right, where's the vineyard? Here's the vineyard. Vineyard is coming. I think this is what I want. No, we don't want that. Oh, that was bad. I wonder if we just lost everything. Oh, that would be so annoying. Let's try that again. That would be such a bummer if we lost yesterday's file. SketchUp, give me one more chance. Nope, they destroyed it. Oh, this is what I want. Okay, I think. Oh my gosh, this is not what I want either. We want scub. Yay! Okay, and let's save this. Wait. I'm not actually sure that this is a new file after all that cheering. Okay, so we're talking about where we have a field of wheat and there is a wall in between the wheat and the vineyard. And also, we're talking about where the wheat is very close to the vineyard. And because avodas hakarim, the vineyard needs 4 amos for the tractor. So it would not be okay to have the vineyard planted so close to the wheat unless there is a wall between them. And we're talking over here where that wall is broken. It's nifritza. There's at least either like the whole wall is gone or there's a gezunta hole in the middle. So the wall broke. You say, fix it. Fine, he fixes it. Nifritza breaks again. If the guy ended up not fixing it, so kidesh v'chayav b'achriyusa. So it becomes Asar al Kilayim. I'm not sure exactly. Here we go. As Kilayim is Chal everywhere. Hey. How about now? Yeah. Okay. As everyone sees, right? Isser bursting out through the wheat. It is now Kilayim. And the vineyard, which is what's asering avodas hakarim, so he has to pay for kiddush. It makes it kilayim after it grew 1/200th v'chayav b'achriyusa, and the owner of the vineyard is going to be chayav for it. Either way, it says mechitza hakarim. Mechitza means a wall. V'taima deratzo, and if mechitza means a wall, then it means that they agreed to build a wall. They built a wall. Halay ratzo ein mechayiv, and I say if he didn't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Alma hezek re'iyah, lav shmei hezek. So there's no such thing as saying you gotta build a wall because that's considered to be like there is damage happening. No such thing. Why does it say build the wall? If they agreed to build a wall, they built it. Twitch Gemara says, Elamai. It's what you're going to say. Plugta. It means a division, a split. If so, shetratzu la'asos mechitza. A very long-winded way that they wanted to make a division. Shetratzu la'asos mibayalei. To which the Gemara responds, which I don't think it said yesterday, which is weird because we mamish said we never even got into that. We just said basically we litamecht yesterday. Ihachi elamai guda. So can Arianchi tanavid plugta? No, it's a normal thing to say. Let's make let's mach a breakup. So Rashi, but in Lavanim, good case Lavanim v'chatzishish, but in Chaluka val karchan chal came a time at the Ratzu shishnu lechalka because Lavanim there. So ein mechayev and Isai el mesibis ba'alma k'amriinchi tirutzu. That's the Gemara answering. Frekt the Gemara in defense of the Hezekri is not an issue, and therefore the word mechitzu would mean a wall. V'Hezekri yeshmei hezek. If it's not a problem, my area Ratzu. Why is it? Irya, I think, means like a problem. Same sharish as Arila. My Irya Ratzu. I'm not sure why Irya would mean that in this context. Why does it go to the trouble of saying Ratzu? Afile Ratzu Nami. Hezek Yishmei Hezek, my Ratzu. Hezek Yishmei Hezek, and Ratzu is going on the Chalukah. Anyways, you can force a Chalukah. Fili Ratzu Nami. Amr B'Yisrael, Amr B'Yechanan, Mishnah Seinu, K'she'ein Badin Chalukah. V'hu de Ratzu. So, this is what we were drawing up before. This Chatzer that they're splitting up, Mr. Blue and Mr. Red, are splitting up a Chatzer that is not big enough to divide, and therefore you can't force a division. Shemidin Chaluka Ches Amais. Oh, Layach Laiko. I was making it 4x4. My bad. Really, you can even have, meaning I made it just under 4x4, but really it's about, here, I'm going to double the size of what I made. Here. Now now it's just under 8 amos, and still it's not enough to divide it. But at least they can spread out. Okay, back to our Gemara. V'deratzu. Temedin Chalukah v'ches amos le'ach le'ko. Frek the Gemara, again, I think, in defense of Hezekiah not being Hezek. My Kamash Malon. So what's it telling us exactly? Kishe'ein badin Chalukah. Kiratzu. Pligi. It's coming to tell us that you're allowed to split up something even though it doesn't have din Chalukah if they both agree. Tanina. It's a Mishnah Masai. When is all this true? When they both don't want to split something, and that's talking about things that cannot be divided based on size. But if it's less than that, you can split. Even less than that, you can split if they both want. No. If we just said that, Mishnah would have thought they can split it, but splitting it with a pathetic little nothing fence. Stakes. That's why here it has to say a wall. Frak the Gemara, so just go for our Mishnah. No, Sefer Tzrichale. What it says over there in the end is necessary because here it's talking about a Chatzar, and there it's also talking about Svarim. וכספי הקודש, אף על פי ששניהם רצים לא יחלוק. זה דרש וכספי הקודש ספר תורה שהוא בכרך אחד וכן נביאים וכסובים בגילאים ספר תורה. So right, you have a Sefer Yeshayahu. It's a long Sefer, and you can conveniently divide it up into Isaiah 1 and Isaiah 2. Don't do that, even though they both want to do it. Okay, whoosh. We have a very long parenthetical thing over here. Parenthetical. Whoa. Why is this all parenthesized? Rashi definitely referenced this before. It said it's coming up. Maybe the issue is calling it a Lishnachrina. Oh, yeah, that's what the Bach is doing. He agreed to split it. Well, why can't you back out? Why are you stuck splitting and building a wall? That they actually made a kinyan chalipin, and that is what is going to be mechayiv them. The Gemara. Okay, yeah. I'm leaving out the parentheses and I'm just skipping 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines before it gets medium. If there's no din chalukah, who cares? They agreed to split it. Okay, back out. They made a kinyan chalipin. So shkayach, what's that going to actually do? Kinyan dvarim ba'almahu. That's just kinyan dvarim muzat chashivin chalipin. Kainel davar anikne. Chalipin is a way of acquiring something that actually exists. Ay nimkar. Ay bimatanay shibakar kaishe hakinyan chal alav. Ay mitaltalin. There's something, even a shibut, but there's actual land. Here it's agreeing to do something. To which the Gemara answers, B'shekanu miyadan beruch, Isaac Rashi. Beruch, I said, Beruch, Elik Mizrachiv, Zeberach Elach, Elik Marav, V'kanu miyadan miyantanik, Nechelik Mizrachi, Lezevin, Lezech, Elik Boy, V'kan Hasheni, Lachaverei. It's not an agreement theoretically to split. They're actually saying, I will take this part of the yard, and the other guy's going to take this part of the yard. So the kinyan is actually on that. Rav Ashi is, I think, saying that such a kinyan is not going to work. But he dug a bit in it. So if they agreed to do it and he did a kinyan, then that finalizes the deal. Okay. Zok the Gemara weiter. Markesh Magu Livnais Gvil Avni Delay Meshafia. Gvil, which takes up 6 tfachim. All right, let's go to our other chutzner over here. So here we have different types of stones. We got Gvil, which I wanted to make it look cooler and rougher, but I didn't have time. But it's Avni Delay Meshafia. They haven't been smoothed down yet. So really, if you'd smooth it down, it would be this size. But still, it has bumps on it, so it's bigger. I know, it should be bumpy. Gazis is going to be only 5 tfachim because it's already been smoothed down. By the Beis HaMikdash, Kol Ela Valim Yekara is Kmidos Gazis. Kfisin, Archi. Kfisin are half bricks. And Levanin, Livni. Levanim are full bricks. Zokt Rashi, Levanim Ariach is Chatzi Levena. Valavena Gimel Tvachem, Variach Tavachu Mechza, Veviakais Ariach Mikan, Ariach Mikan, Vetavach Bamsa, Shnesin Sham Tit Lechabroi. Levanim Livni Shlemais, Levena Laeviakaisel. So half brick are going to take up more space than bricks because you're going to need a gap in between them for mortar. Amar le Rav Brit Rava le Rav Ashi Rabba Brit Rava. Rav Acha Brit Rav Avia le Rav Ashi. Mimai Gvil Avni Dule Mishafi Nino Vaitavach Yisrael Moshe the Karnasa. Wait, who says that Gvil is something which is rough, and that's why you have an extra tefach for the bumps? Dilma palga de gazes uvai tavach yisera lebeini urbiho kidakar minan kfisen archivin livni vai tavach yisera lebeini urvi ben dimash mekan ben dimash mekan ben isin tit beemtza. Maybe Gvil is not rough guzes, and that's why it's bigger. Maybe it's the same exact thing that's happening with the kfisen. Here, let's make a... Here, I'm going to move this stone over here. Let's duplicate a copy of it. And then we'll split it into two. All right, we got that one. And we're going to do that one. And let's line them up with the kfisen. And maybe this is what Gevil really is. It's half bricks. It's half stones, and therefore that your total is going to end up being a full 6 tfachim because you have to put mortar in the middle. Amar le Rav Ashi says back to Rava Breder, says back to Rabba Breder Rava. V'tameich, well, according to your reasoning, kfisen archi minalan. How do you know that kfisen are actually half bricks? And Rashi says maybe they're bumpy, regular bricks. Like Rashi lived veni orv. Nope. Achesina ema livni delay mishafion. Wait a minute. That Rashi might be on the Gemara Vayta. Sorry, this is Rav Ashi's response. Ela Gemara Gemiri La Gvil Nami Am Mishafi Gemara Gemiri La. It's a tradition. Ika to Amri Malay Rav Achav the Rav Avia the Rav Ashi. Oh, that's why they were changing the Girsa before. Okay. Mimai Dai Kfisen Archinino. Who says that Kfisen are half bricks? Like these. Avni is a weird word. The Rashmi Dasau points out that Rashi's girsa is Levanim. Levanim to Mishafyan, Vaitavach, he said, Amersha de Karnisa, Kidakar meaning Vil Avni Mishafyan, and Gazes, Avni Mishafyan, Vaitavach, Yisera, Amersha de Karnisa. So maybe this is the exact inverse of the way the question was asked before. Hachigar Sinan. Where do you see Rashi's Girsa? Ema. Oh, Hachigar Sinan. Yeah, this is not just something random. Maybe the kfisen are rough bricks that also stick out. Amar le, so Rav Ashi, I think Rav Ashi stays the same. Yeah, it says back to Rav Achav Rav Avia. V'tamek vil amnid l'mishaf minol. And how do you know that the that gvil is going to be rough stones? Maybe it's half gazes. Ela Gemara Gemiri La, and I'm Gemara Gemiri La. Amar Abaye, Shmami Nakal Beni Urbi Tefach. We see that the space between bricks that is left when you're connecting half pieces together in a wall, you need to have a tefach in between. So Rashi Shmami Na. If someone agreed to build a wall, this is the amount. Hani Mili Betina, and that is assuming he is using Tina. I'm saying cement or maybe mortar. But if you're using a mix of pebbles and stickiness, you're going to need more. Another way of saying it in Abaye is that the tefach is when you're using a mix of pebbles and stickiness. But if you're using actual mortar, you wouldn't need as much. Do you mean to say the big gazes that when you're building a wall of gazes, cut stones? What's the Bach doing? That if you have a height of 4 tvachim, you need a height of 4 amos. You're going to need a width of 5 tvachim to hold it up. So the Rashi of the Gaza is called the Amos Gavi. Have posted the tvachim Gavi like get Amos is in Gaza. There's tvachim u'mechza. There's then there's tvachim u'mechza. Each of them is going to be giving 2.5 to then, and of course double. That's 5. Ugdan is even mechamet say. I said the say adal amos. We chashim zel gavi shmein tzarich yud tvachim roicha. Right. So these guys are going to be building a wall. So we're right now focusing on gazes. I'm going to take this stone over here. And we're saying that if you build a wall out of these guys, then for the wall ultimately is going to be 4 amos high. Here, let's build a wall. And to make it how tall is going to be 4 amos. Let's see. All right, it's a nice height. Oh, wow, nice. Okay, so here's our wall that we're building. It's 4 amos high. And where are the people? Oh, I think we should bring them back in just for some context. What you can see, what you can't see. All right, so now we have a wall which is 4 amos, and we're saying that it needs a width of 5 tvachim. And Rashi's saying the implication was that if you would increase the height, you would have to also increase the width. Right, so if it gets taller, then also it's going to need to get wider. Right, double the height, double the width. Like the Gemara, but in the Beis HaMikdash it was, and for Amatraxin, the Traxin. Oh, this is Taisa says, right? Truki Gali, that's protecting the Sinai. A wall that was in the first Beis HaMikdash. It was a wall that's only, it's 6 tvachim wide, but it goes up 30 whole amos. And it stands. All right. I'm not sure if we should right now already break into what the amatraxin is or not. Let's take a look over here. Here I might be jumping the gun slightly, but okay. So over here we have a cutaway of the Beis HaMikdash, right? So this is the second Beis HaMikdash over here, and what we're doing is we're doing a cross section of it, boink, and now we can see what's going inside. There's lots of ta'im. We'll see later in the 4th parak. And we have a hanging pareiches over here. This is the second Beis HaMikdash. You can see the space that Kohen Gadol would be going in between the pareiches on Yom Kippurim. But if you go back in time to the first Beis HaMikdash, there are not these 2 pareiches. Instead, here I'm removing those. Whoa. I just destroyed the whole Beis HaMikdash by mistake. So instead, we have a wall down the middle. Something's very strange. Okay, here we go. So now we have a wall going through. It's an amma thick. There is, I think I made that wall go through the floor. All right, and there's going to be, again, don't take any of this lamaisa in terms of scale, but we have a doorway in the wall, and this wall is going to be 30 amos tall. Let's actually raise our cross section. And the truth is that what I am showing here is some unholy odd mix of the first and second Beis HaMikdash. Here. But we're going to pretend this is Bayis Rishon, and we will restore the Arayin Limkaimai, and the height of the Kodesh HaKadoshim is going to be 30 amos. Oh, it's going to actually, okay, it's actually even taller than this. You can tell that that's a lot taller than the wall in our Mishnah. And the width of it is only 6 tefachim. Sagt Rashi. V'amatraxin de binyan shloimai, the gazes hava Shlomo's mikdash was built out of gazes. Tichsev avnei gazes, avi shleish ma'amakai masa, it was 30 amos high. Ve'ein oivya ela amola havdil. It's only an amma thick, separating between the Heichal and the Kodesh HaKadoshim. I'm just checking to see what that was. I don't think that is related to this shir. I'm just checking if someone's saying something. No, we're good. Okay. So it was an alma in between, to which the Gemara answers, oh, you're right. If it's 4 ames high, you're going to need to make it 5 tefachim wide. But once you make something 6 tefachim wide, you can go up to the sky. Kevan de'ika tefach yisera koi. You have an extra tefach, and that's all it needs. Taisus points out you could also answer that there's a ceiling on top of it. Because that extra tefach in thickness, you can raise the wall substantially. And you would not have to do, as we had asked before, you do not have to increase the width as you increase the height. Okay. And now the Gemara asks, Uve miktasheni le'avod, my time le'avod amatraxin, in the second Beis HaMikdash, when there is no Arayin, and instead there are these 2 pareichais. Let's get them back. All right, here we go with our pareichais. So, why wasn't there an amatraxin? Going to shame with Emily of amatraxin, which Gemara answers kikoi, betlasin kai. When you want to pull off a wall like that, it can only be 30 amos high. Tfei loy kai. More than that is not going to go. Uminola and dava gavaya tfei. How do you know that the second Beis Mikdash was taller than the first? Dichsev. It sounds like chagai. Gadol yiyeh kveida bayis hasehu acharei min harishayin. This later house will be greater than the original, the first one. And Rav Shmuel v'Ami Rabbi Yechanan Rabbi Elazar. Machlokes, what does it mean that it's greater? Chad Amar bebinyan. One says it means in size and height. At Rashi bebinyan shayagayv hay. So yeah, the Bach says that we don't want to say that the second Beis Mikdash was 100, because if you're going to be doing things all the way to the roof, Bayis Rishon would win because of Divrei Hayamim in 120. Therefore, we're talking about the interior chamber, and meaning right here the Perichas is, and it's going to be 40 amos high. So V'chad amar bebinyan, turning the page. V'chad amar b'shanim. That one says that it's greater, that it lasted longer. Rashi b'shanim. Bayis Rishon amar daled minas v'eser. Bayis Rishon was 410. Bayis Sheni daled minas v'esim. Second Beis Mikdash is 420 at least. V'daik. V'isalaha v'isaleha. And both are true. The Gemara is saying it's not necessarily a machlokes, it's a question of focus, because they both, it's true that second Mikdash was both taller and longer lasting. Frak the Gemara, okay, but you're saying that you could pull off a 30 amma wall. V'ni'avdu tlasan amma bebinyan v'idech navid pareches. Fine, so make a wall up to 30 ammas and then do a pareches for the last 10. To which the Gemara says, no. Kikai tlasan amasa nami. When you can get 30 ammas to stand with that width, agav tikru umaziva kai. You get it to stand because there's a roof pushing down on it. But tikru maziva like it's not going to do it without the ceiling. To which the Gemara says, okay, fine, so do a little less without a ceiling. So do what you can in terms of building and do a pareches for the rest. Just to catch up in Rashi, agav tikru maziva shal yaisa nesuna alav maziva shal tit tarkos. Truxid sounds a lot like Truxin and has nothing to do with it. It's the cement that's keeping the roof on. But amasa mam and kaisa shlayata litstad and agach b'mik sheni shlayha kaisa lamin magia la'aliyah liyuchalamoid. So fine to just do it with what you could. Amar Abaye. Abaye says, no, Gemiri, tradition. Ikulu bebinyan, ikula bepareches. You could either do it all a wall or all hanging curtain. Ikulu bebinyan mi mikdash, ikulu bepareches mi mishkan. Either all built like the first base of mikdash, or a pareches like the mishkan. And since building wasn't an option because the height of the mikdash sheni was higher, they had to go for a pareches for all of it. Just checking something. All right, so we said it before also about which bricks are which. Gemirila. Weiter. They wanted to know this amount that we're saying that you have to give 6, 5, 4, 3. Is that talking about including? So this is going back to the wall that they're building. And when we say 6, does that mean that really it's going to be slightly less because that extra space is for the plaster, or maybe the plaster has to be done in addition to that? So sagt Rashi in Vesidon. Ayim b'loi Sidon. Hani shiri demas nisen. Im avi atiach kachashav le'en dilma makmavanim avi bepusya levad tiach hasid. So yibaylo hein v'sidon dilma hein b'loi Sidon. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak mistavra hein v'sidon. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says mistama. That amount includes the layer of plaster. If it's saying that this, but you have to add more, you should have said it. That's got to be that it's including it. Lie, to which the Gemara says, maybe it's, you have to add that this is the amount of the actual brick or stone, and you have to, the plaster is going to be extra. Why did the Mishnah say it? No, it wasn't even a tefach in thickness, so we're not going to mention it. Vaktani. What do you mean? We're not going to say something less than the tefach. Because this, and they say in tfachayim umechza, right, 2.5, and it's in tfachayim umechza. And bilavenin, then they say in tefach umechza, but they say in tefach umechza. Hasam chazid, it's terufi. So we're asking, what do you mean over there? It mentions the halves. Yeah, but because those halves add up to a whole. It's true if the two parts, if the two halves add up to one whole, then we would mention it. But Sid, maybe not. So we're being Madche Rav Nachman Yitzchak's Raya. Toshma. Oh, baby. Now we are going into Erevin land. And look! These guys are actually secretly living in Erevin land. And let's see. Okay, here's a kaira right here. Toshma kaira shamru. When we said you have to have a kaira, right, to be matre chotzer, it's like Rashi kaira shamru le'inyan hechsher mavoy. Let's see, how wide is this? This kaira that I have over here looks like it is 1 tefach wide. Rechava k'nei lekabel oriach. It's wide enough to hold an oriach, which we said is a half brick. And an oriach is half a brick of 3 tfachim, which, interesting. I wonder how this works with the Gemara before. V'tamech kfisin archi minalan. Because here we have a Beferish Mishnah. Okay. And the way that Mishnah is explained is, here, let's do it. Let's go to our Chatzar HaShutfin, and let's grab this Ariach over here, which is 1 tefachim. All right, let's take it and let's plop it down on our kaira. You'll notice that it is actually wider than the kaira, and I hope Rashi here will address that. Gimel tefachim. Nope. But the way it's explained over there is that there's tit that's put on the sides. Begach uvenkach, this is a strong raya, hein b'loi sidon, because we're saying for a mavoy, we're using the brick as a shear, and we're not building a wall out of it and adding sid, and still it already is 1.5, which would mean that that's hein b'loi sidon, because you'd have to add plaster. Hasam b'rav revasa. No, that's talking about a big one. Maybe stam kfis and levanim are slightly smaller, and the sid will be what's mashlam it. Hasam b'rav revasa umasdisim b'zitzurasa deim sidan lehavu el gimel tfachim. Dekanami tani shal shleisha tfachim. Michlal dikazuta shma mina. If the Mishnah there has to emphasize that it's a half brick of 3 tfachim, let that be a raya that not all bricks are that wide, and therefore the Mishnah's shear of 3 tfachim total when you're building with levanim or 4 with kfisin is including the sid. Shma mina. Okay. Period. Amar Rav Chisda lelister inish be kanishta adabani be kanishta achriti. One may not destroy a synagogue until they have built the new one. Here in Baltimore, I believe Darchei Tzedek. They built the new shul and then demolished the old one. I feel like the same thing's happening with Suburban across the street from them. There are those who would explain this because, this din of Rav Chisda, because we're afraid you might destroy the first one and not build the second one. Something could go wrong and they end up not building the other one, and then you end up with nothing. Because of davening, mishum tzliyas at Rashi calls mana binyan, right? Or else you don't have a shul in the intervening period. My benayu, what would be the difference between those two reasons? Ika benayu, the ika, the knishta achriti, or duchta l'tzliya, if there's another place to daven. Okay. Maremar and Marzutra, Sasri uvanu be Keta besisva. V'sasri uvani beisisva beketa. So they were converting their shul and making it seasonally appropriate. Rashi beketa, a summer house, besisva in the winter. Beis HaKnesses ayel meisach chayef namuch b'ksalim rechavim v'chalonis mu'atin mipnei atzinu v'meisach hama Beis HaKnesses acher she'aver shaylet by. So they had a... Rashi seems to be learning that they had two different shuls. There's a Haggah on Taisus, meaning, is this like a Maisa Listar that we're bringing a Raya that you could destroy one? Because it sounds... When were they doing this? They just sound like they destroyed it during the winter and built it for the warmer season. Ravina said to Rav Ashi, okay, you can't destroy the old shul. We said Mishum Shiusa, but Gavu, Zuzi, Umachti. What if you've already collected the funds for the new building and they're already placed down? What would be the din? Could you then destroy the original shul? Amalei, no. Dom Misrami Lupidin Shvuyim. V'yoavilahu. V'yoavilahu. Maybe Pidin Shvuyim will come up, and for that, the shul would get pushed off and the money would go. So still don't destroy the first one. Okay, fine. But what if you already have Sarigi or Sharigi Livni, Vahadri, Hudri, Umachti, Kshuri? Sharigi Livni, Misudar Malvenim Zelgav Zem Zumanin, Lesitem Bebinya. What if the bricks are already lined up? I feel this is related to the pasuk in Eicha Yis Tarigu. Hadri Hodri Mishup and Misukanin Riti Agag, the Kiborne, the rafters for the ceiling are already routed. I forgot exactly the right word for it. Smoothed. Umanchi Umachti Kshuri, and the beams are down. Amarle. Still no, and this is Rav Ashi answering Ravina. Zim and the Misramilu Pidin Shvuyim and Mizamni V'Yovilahu. Maybe Pidin Shvuyim will come up, and then they would sell those things. So still don't destroy the old one. So Ravina is saying, okay, so even if you build the new shul, maybe you'll have to destroy it for Pidin Shvuyim. Amarle, no. Dir say de inshi le mizabni. Sagt Rashi, Kibanu Nami Beknish Tachadat, so Lenis Teruah, La Tika, the Dilma Misami Pidin Shvuyim Mizamni Le? No. They say the Inshile Mizamni. Once it's already being, I think that Dira, once it's already being used, it's not going to be, we're not going to sell it. And we only said that you can't destroy the old shul until the new one's ready, when the old shul is still usable. It doesn't have cracks in it. If there's stuff going wrong with it, Sasri Ubani, you can destroy it. Rav Ashi I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Rav Ashi saw cracks in a shul in Mata Machasya. Sasre, so they demolished it, but Va'ayel Purye lost, and he brought his bed there. Afghan didn't remove it ad Damaskin Le Shvichi until they were already fixing the gutters. So on one hand, it needed to be demolished because it was unstable, but he wanted to make sure that they would keep doing it, so he actually slept there. Ubava ben Boot. Okay, so once that's true, that you can't destroy the old one until the new one's ready, I feel like the whole Gemara has been leading up to this based on the Amatraction thing. So how on earth did Bava ben Buta advise Herod to destroy the Beis HaMikdash? Rashi says this whole story can be found in Yosiphon, which is not Josephus. This is the Izvahada saying. It's not in Yosef. Maybe just talking about the actual project. Okay, speak to Rittmeyer. You can't build one until you have a new one. If you want, you could say to you Chazabed, there were cracks visible, so it needed to happen. That if you have the commitment of the government, then that's something which you can assume is going to go on and not be backed out on. The Amar Shmuel had said, Shmuel who had shaykhs, it seems, to Shavur Malka, all right. Amar Machusa Karnaturi, if the government decides that they are going to destroy mountains, they'll do it. They'll uproot the mountains and not go back on it. And now we're saying the story. Hurdos Avna the Beis Chashmonai Hava. This is the Gemara saying that Herod was originally an eved, a slave servant of the Hasmonean dynasty, which was falling to pieces. Nasan Eina by Zatinoikas. He was interested in marrying her. Doesn't say who her is. What's her name, Miriam? I don't remember anymore. Yom Echad, one day, Shami the Bas Kol Adamar, he heard a Bas Kol, the Bachas Magia. The Amar Kol Avda Demarid Hashta Matzlach, any servant who rebels now succeeds. Kam Katlinu Lakulahu Marvase, he killed his masters. Vishairo Layanukta, but spared that maiden. When she saw that he wanted to marry her, she ascended to the roof. V'ramas kala raised her voice. Amr and said, "Kol man da'asi v'amar." This could be a song. Kol man da'asi v'amar mi beis chashmonai kasina. Anyone who says that they are a continuation of the Hasmonean dynasty, avdahu. He's a slave. It's fake. This sounds like Sar Yochsin stuff. The only one left is that girl, me. That's switched from her quote to it happening, it sounds like. What does Israel to do with that? The Pnei Shloima. In the Ein Yaakov, it says, Tipo v'temois hashta. She's about to fall and die, and v'nafalo mason, and that's what she did. Tamna shvashnin bedovsha. He preserved her. It says here in honey for 7 years. Difference of different versions whether he was actually intimate with her alive, dead. Sounds like it sounds like after she was dead. And if he wasn't using her in her death, those who were saying that he was intimate with her in her death. No, we're not doing visuals for this one. He did it for his own desires. If he didn't, why would he preserve her? It was his wife, even though she was dead. Omar, he said, Mandarish, who are the ones who expounded that I can't be a king? The ones who said, Mikarev achecha tasim alecha melech, Rabbanan, it's the rabbi saying that I am not worthy of being a king. So, come, easy solution. Well, come katlinu lekulu Rabbanan. So he killed all the rabbis. Wow. Rashi points out, Natosis, lav davka lekulu. It wasn't all of them. Shavke lebava ben Buta lemishkal eitzimine, and he spared Bava ben Buta for advice, and to be continued tomorrow, which is Erev Shabbos. Let's do a little bit more, just because Erev Shabbos is tight. We're on Dalet Amud Aleph. Hadlei Klila Diyali. He gave him a literally it would be a crown, but it's like wrapping around of hedgehog stuff. Rashi says, Hadlei Klila Diyali Ha'anakam Takaminan Yala V'Usher Shekaren Hersong. Blinding him with a hedgehog mask. Poking his eyes. One day, Herod is now sitting before him. Amar, and said to trick him to see. Chazimar, see master. Hi avda bisha, my kavod. What this bad slave Herod is doing. Amar lei. Bava ben Buta says, "My avile. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do to him?" Amalei nilatiemar, curse him. Amalei ksiv koheles gam b'madoacho melech al tekalel. Even in your own private chambers, don't curse a king. Amalei said, "I love melech, who he's not a king." Amalei, Bava ben Buta said, "Okay, let him just be a regular wealthy guy." If he's a prince, Herod prodding him. That's if someone does things like your nation. Bamuta said, Mistafina. I'm afraid that someone might tell him. Amalei said, so Herod says, there's no one else with us. It's just me and you. So Rashi Amalei gets the end of the pasuk. A bird of the heavens will spread the word of a winged thing will tell it over. In other words, I'm not doing it. Amalei, Herod says, I know who. I am he. I knew the sages, the rabbis, so careful. I wouldn't have killed them all. Oh, great. Thanks for what can I do to rectify that? Amalei, Bava ben Buta said, who kava erishal olam? He, Herod, extinguished the light of the world. He should engage himself with the light of the world. Is that Yeshaya? It sounds like Yeshaya. Yeah. Another version is, he said, he blinded the eyes of the world, which is calling the sages the eyes of the generation, and there seems to be a subtle rebuke for blinding him as well. He should deal with and engage with the eyes of the world. Where is this? Oh, Yechezkel. Geoin uzchem machmad einechem. Nimechalas mikdoshi save the crow machmad einechem. Amar le. Horda says, Mistafina mimachusa. I'm scared of the government. Mistafina mimachusa. Kvuv marilu malchus re'miyim. Amar le said, Shadar shlicha. So send a messenger and have him dally. V'leizel shata v'liakiv shata v'other shata. Adachi v'achi sash v'leiv anyislei. So send a messenger and do it slow. Avarachi, that's what he did. Shochule, they sent back. Imlay Sarta, if you didn't destroy it yet, Al Tastar, don't destroy it. Vim Satarta, if you did it already, Al Tivni, don't build it. Vim Satarta, Ubanis. And if you destroyed it and built it, Avdi Bisha, you have done bad. Basar da Avdin, Mismalchen, after we do it, we ask, Mismalchen, Night and Rishos. In Zainach Allah, even if you have your weapons on you, Safrach Khan, we got your book. Zainach Allah, Safrach Khan, in this guy, Esa Beklem Khamta Sharakta, Base Adinachas, if Yuchsin Shachabi Adenuhu, Yodanu Shanta Eved. We got the book. Sounds like the purloined letter. Le Raka Vile Baraka. You are not a king, you are the son of a king. Le Raka Le Melech Le Ben Melech. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Rex meaning king. Raka. And what does it say in this purloined letter? Hurdus Avda Hera the slave. Kilanya Misavid. Rashi says Kilanya Misavid Nasa ben Chirin Me Elav. I'm not sure what Kalanya means. Meaning, I could translate it as Kalain. Did something like, disgraceful, but I'm not sure. My Raka, what does Raka mean? Malchusa, king. Dechsev anechi ayayim, Rach u'mashuach melech. V'bois ema mehacha, v'kulafanav, avreich. What they call that before Yosef. Okay, and so he built it. Amri, they said, I think I have a file of this somewhere showing the binyan of Hurdus, but we don't necessarily need to do that because we can just pull up Second Temple model. Here we go. Right, used to be at the Holy Land Hotel. Now it is at the Israel Museum. And, all right. Amri, they said, Mishlei Ra Binyan Hurda, someone who never saw this Herodian temple. Ra Binyan Noemi Yama, never saw a beautiful building. Ksav Yad Mefayar. B'mai Banye, what did he build it with? Amar Rabba, Zog Rabba, what did he build it with? Or maybe Rava. Ba'avni Shisha Umarmala, with marble of various colors. Rashi. Shisha Shayish, marble Yarek Shakarin Bez. Umarmara Shayish Love on white marble. And where did Kuchla come from? Oh, so the first Lashon is green and white. Ikdamri Bavdi Kuchla Shisha Marmala, blue, green, and white. Kuchla Shayish Tzavuk in Kuchel, marble that is bluish. Apik Safa Va'ayil Safa, Kiechidinakabel Sida. And they were sticking in and out. So there would be a place for attaching it with mortar, plaster. Savar, the Gemara says, he planned the Mechafi Bedava to cover it with gold. Amr Rabbanan, the Chachamim said, Shavke, leave it like a Tachi Shaper Tzvei. It's better this way. Demichsi, it looks Kidvasa Diyama, like waves of the sea. Idvasa Diyama, Galiyam Shem Noim Venodim Vayin Misasheshes Biriyasan, Misasheshes. Mishtasha'as. I mean, it's enjoyable to look at the wavy pattern. Opposed to misashesha, sounds like getting overtired. Ashish. Okay. So again, we're leading up to this. Oh, wait a minute. No. We already asked Hagbav Bambu to do it, and we said either there were cracks in it, or the government is different. But now we're asking a different thing. Uvav mebutaychi avarachi. V'amar Rav Yehuda Marav, itim Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rav Yehuda Marav, or maybe Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi said, Mipnei Manenash Daniel, Mipnei She'isi Eit Nebuchadnezzar. Then Daniel, why was Daniel punished? We'll explain what that is. Because he gave Eitzah to Nebuchadnezzar. Shenemar lehein. I'm going to totally butcher this pasuk. Lehein malka milki yishpar aloch. My word should be pleasing to you. V'chatoich b'tzedakah paraik. Your sin you should redeem with tzedakah. Oh, Farouk. And your perverted ways you fix with favoring the poor. Hein, with this tiavi arkalis shalvasech, you will have extended calm. Uchsev, and it says kulamot an Nebuchadnezzar malka, that all this happened in Nebuchadnezzar. Uchsev, and it says v'ktas yarchen treyasar, in 12 months. So Rashi milki shbarloch atzasitetiv beinecha b'mechananiyim v'chaniyas aniyim b'chintei archal l'shavosech ya'erich l'shleimech kulamata kolach leim shalpernis ba'alav. All the punishing dream came on him, and l'ktas yarchen treyasar, and it happened at the end of 12 months. And Rashi's saying that he was spared. Nebuchadnezzar was spared this coming true. He was delayed 12 months in the zchus of Daniel. B'shvil atzasa shel Daniel talalai, not the zchus because of he did something good because of Daniel, not the latest punishment. B'shvil atzasa shel Daniel talalai shnei masar chaydesh. And we're saying Daniel was punished for that, for urging a wicked king to do something good. Ibais ema. If you want, I can answer. Shiny avda tichav b'mitzvahs. Hurdas, being an eved, was actually obligated in mitzvahs. Ibais ema. Shiny beis hamikdash delay malchus lemispani. That when it comes to the beis hamikdash, you're going to need governmental intervention. V'Daniel minol and dianish. Had no Daniel was actually punished. Iliyam mishum dechsev v'tikra Esther lahasach. So Esther calls hasach hatach and asks him to go to Mordechai back and forth. Okay, and we have this tradition that hasach is Daniel. Oh, v'amarav hasach is Daniel. Well, honey, that's going to work. Mont amar she chatchuhu migdulasai. That, why was he called hasach, like hasach? Because he was cut off from his position, and that would be his punishment. According to the opinion that hatach is like chatach, that he was official and everything was done based on him. So where do you see punishment? To which Gemara answers, he had another punishment. Yeah, Daniel was also thrown into the lion pit. So yeah. All right, the Gemara is continuing with Hakol K'minig Medina, but that's not for today. Probably tomorrow we'll get up to the middle of Dalet Amud Beis. Shkoyach.